You started, what made you start, and how it's all led up to you being here right now.
So came on, I stepped foot on campus for my first time in 2022, I believe it was. And I had an internship with Arcata Main Street, which was the organization that put on Oyster Fest at the time. There was some issues with getting people together to put on Oyster Fest. And so I became involved with putting on Oyster Fest. It was the year that was off the plaza. And I learned so much about putting on events, and I learned so much about the waste that events create. I learned that Oyster Fest was the biggest waste producing event in Arcata at the time. And so I took it upon myself to create the eco positive team, waste team, and with Mother Earth Engineering spearheading it with Full Cycle Compost. We all came together and multiple other people that came together as well. HSU Dining provided forks at the time. That was my first time that I really got into, okay, there's a waste issue. Okay, we can solve it with all the local resources and people that we have. And that's when I met Joanne McGarry. She had been bringing reusable plates, cups, utensils to events for over a decade on her bicycle or public transportation with zero waste emission transportation. And she would take them back home at the end of the event and she would wash them all herself. And it seemed like something that everybody wanted to see happen on a larger scale. And she allowed me to take it over in 2024 and turn it into a business.
Oh, that's cool. Wait, so what she was doing wasn't a business, and you just went in and created the business around that whole like business model?
For over a decade, Joanne went around to community events and asked them to use her personal dishes. And she would take them back to her personal home where she had roommates and she would wash everything.
Oh, wow.
Pro bono.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
And I think that was great, but also we want to be able to make sure, I wanted to be able to make sure that I could sustain myself with this model, as well as provide other opportunities to create jobs and teach people how we could do this at a greater scale as well.
Wow.
Definitely. I think to expand it and to scale it to where you have today, it took, a little bit of commercialization. And a lot of people, like, that word scares them. But there's a way to do it ethically. There's a way to do it in such a way that it is community driven and it is serviceable to the people. And I think you've really encapsulated how to do that.
Oh, I appreciate that. It is a labor of love that we do, and we want this. I want this to exist. I want there to be reusable dishes at every event. There should be no excuse to have any single-use disposables anymore, but it will never not be uncomfortable for me to charge for these services. I will say that. As a business owner, it's something that I want to have happen. And you're right. There's ways that we could do it in a scalable way. But the commercialization it's hard. It's a hard balance.
Definitely, definitely. But I think it's really great what we've done with Bright and Green so far. And I can't wait to see it expand. It's I think that it has the potential to even, move outside of the borders of Humboldt County. Do you see a larger vision with Bright and Green to move out of the county, or has that already started?
I have a huge vision for Bright and Green, especially after spending so much time traveling in the world and having lots of international friends in what I feel to be pretty much every country. I would love to see reusables being used everywhere. India was one of the most recent countries that I was in, and they do wonderful jobs at having reusables at mass scales. And they use steel or they use really good quality stuff too. They're from clay cups to steel plates. I would love to see more reusables around the world, bright and green, whatever color they may be. I hope that we can create the system and the model here to make it a cookie cutter approach and just make it easier for other communities to follow the same around the world.
That's awesome. So yeah, so you said you just were in India, right? And you've traveled to, is that count as the 42 countries or is that 43? Or a returning one from the 42?
I believe that's one of the ones of the 42.
Okay, so with that, what did what did those years of travel teach you that you carry into Brighton Green today?
Waste is an issue everywhere, and it's something that really upsets people. It's something that we see. There's a lot of problems in the world that we don't face every day, but waste is something that we face and see, and that emotionally upsets us. And we have almost a halting guilt about it, a paralyzing guilt that halts us and makes it so that we don't take action. But we can come together, take action, become educated. But it's also it's an overwhelming problem.
Yeah.
We're all overwhelmed by it.
Where from the of those 42 countries, what was the country that you visited that had like the absolute like worst problem with trash and garbage and not recycling or reusing?
Oh, that's hard.
Maybe top 3?
I don't know. We're all so bad. The United States really is we send our trash. Like the reason that other countries suffer so much is because a lot of the United States trash ends up in other countries and they're just dealing with it. Lots of our quote unquote recyclables.
Yeah.
I I don't know if I have an answer for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I guess what you just said about us bringing our trash to other countries, it's like when people mention, oh, like those pants are probably in a dump somewhere in China, or something like that. Is that kind of where it comes from because we just send all our garbage over there?
We landfill a lot of our garbage, but like our recyclable stuff, things that could be recycled, but it just isn't being handled properly when we send it to the proper places, or it's too contaminated to actually be recycled. And so they end up just having to dump it in certain places that are less regulated than we would allow.
Yeah, that's like a concern I've had because where I used to work, they told us that we weren't able to throw our cans or like anything that was recyclable or compostable like in the recycle bin because a lot of them were like contaminated. And my thought process always was like, well, aren't there people that can uncontaminate it, like get the liquid out of the can or, do something like that? Or is it just like, I guess a wider problem than that, like recycling plants being understaffed maybe? Is that like a reason why they can't do that?
They can handle contamination. They can't handle too much contamination. So a certain degree, the processing of like like aluminum cans, for example, it undergoes like a chemical process. They shred it all up. They clean it out. Really, some residue and liquids will just get cleaned out through that process. Excessive amounts of residue. So if you're throwing like a full can or you're not dumping out like your liquids, if there's some residue on the outside, that's okay. Again, I'm not a recycling professional.
Oh,
I
yeah.
do work closely with Hambro Recycling and Recology to try to educate people about what can be recycled and where it does go. I know that we don't process cardboard in the United States. Typically, we send it abroad. For Humboldt County specifically, I know that we send it abroad. We do have cardboard processing plants. We have Hambro Recycling, which can take our CRV. I have little informational handouts about that. But
You could show it to your camera.
Oh,
right
here we
there,
go.
too. Yeah.
These are mostly just for our volunteers, just so that they know that we can. And California is a leader in CRV recycling, the California Redemption Value. So we are able to recycle lots of aluminum and beverage containers.
And the CRV makes its money by the CRV fees on all the cans, right? Is that how that works?
Every time that you buy a beverage, you are depositing money for the container that you're buying it in. And if you return the container, you get your deposit back.
Oh, that's why like at the plants, if you return a bunch of cans, you only get like 5, 10 cents, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, learning stuff, guys. That's crazy. Okay. Yeah. So, um, like you don't recycle,
If
or you're
some
opposed to it.
we offer waste reduction management services and reusable services. So the reusable services are when we bring you reusable plates, cups, utensils, bowls, and then we pick up those dirty dishes at the end of your event and we wash all the dishes. Then we also offer what I call waste reduction management services, where we come in, we help make a waste plan. How are you going to deal with your trash? Where is the trash going to go? How can we make sure that it doesn't get contaminated during the event? And then during the event, we set up the waste stations and we do what I call quote unquote trash talking. We stand by the waste stations and we tell people, hey, this is actually compostable. The local worm guy can take our card, or he could take paper plates, he could take bamboo forks, he could take bones, meat, dairy, and we're going to send all of our stuff to the local worm guy today. Or maybe we're sending it to full cycle compost that day too,
Oh, that's cool.
or for a different event if it's a little bit smaller scale. And so we tell people what we do, and then throughout the event, we sort everything and we compile waste reports and we measure how much of it was or how much of the waste was trash, how much of it was recycling, how much of it was CRV, how much of it was cardboard, and we're able to say about 60% of all of your waste was compost, about
Really?
30% was recycling, and only 10% was trash. Or
Oh, wow. I think I had a question about that.
so we don't process the recyclables, we don't process the compost, but we tell people that Hambro Recycling will process your CRV. The local worm guy and Full Cycle Compost will process your compost, and we educate the public about that.
Nice. What, like, all of this is like making me wonder, what started this for you personally? Was there a turning point as like a kid or a young adult? Like, how did your love for organizing trash and waste reduction and all that like come to be?
I
We lost a Polaroid.
It goes to back to the Oyster Fest. And the Oyster Fest is such a big deal for this community, and it was such a huge event. I really felt dedicated to making sure that we are not going to produce that much waste at that event. And then the North Country Fair actually showed me what an organized event looks like, what it looks like when people have a plan and support and teams and board that shows up to meetings and really is hands-on as well and collaborative. And so I learned so much from the North Country Fair. And with that, I was able to start providing waste reduction management services for other events, because I learned how to make a plan. Same with like Zero Waste Humboldt is an organization, a nonprofit organization in our area. But I realized that they were struggling being able to help as many events that wanted their help too. So I started offering those services as well.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's just addicting. It's fun. I
Yeah.
love digging through trash cans and pulling out all this good stuff. I show some videos on our Instagram where we're digging through trash cans, and you could just watch the trash cans go from being full to barely having anything in it, because we're able to give all that stuff to the local worm guy and add value to our local land rather than trashing it.
Wow.
Well, so you you started the business as just by yourself, and did you have a team when you first started Bright and Green at that very first Oyster Festival? Were they paid or were they volunteers?
Ever since I started Bright and Green and got involved with waste reduction, since I started Bright and Green, we have made sure that there's paid staff for waste haulers at each event. North Country Fair was the first one that really made sure that waste haulers were paid. And once I saw the effect that had and the ability to really create a team of people that will show up reoccurring to events that really know what they're doing that could just show up and start doing stuff. I made sure to make it a point that we have paid haulers and staff and trash talkers at each event that Bright and Green works.
That's awesome.
But I did start it alone though. No,
that's great.
Just me.
And that's how a lot of businesses start. And here at the SBDC, we one of our biggest indicators and trackers for economic development is employees and employees hired. So your business has created employment opportunities for people in Arcata and Humboldt, and you've created opportunities for success for those people. And I just want to say that's very admirable. And at the SBDC, that's something we really value is an entrepreneur's ability to create jobs for people. As a manager of a business, as a manager of employees, what's the most difficult part about managing a team that you've experienced over the last year or two?
It is, I think I was explaining this before we popped on too. I love doing what I do. I know how to do it. I can do it fast. I will run around all day doing it. And so it's almost hard for me to watch somebody else do what I know I could do. And we want to work as a team, but I know that because I do want to scale, I need to teach other people how to do this. I need other people to manage the team. And this last weekend was just such a wonderful success. We had Harper that was coordinating most of the waste reduction for North Country Fair. They worked 12 hours Saturday, 12 hours Sunday. We had about 8 other staff hired both days as well. And watching it be a success, watching people know what to do, they've been trained. It's been amazing. There's always going to be stuff that goes wrong. And learning how to, it's a deep question.
So you've built a team and you found people amongst your ranks that you feel like can take on a leadership role and really represent what Bright and Green stands for.
So many of us do.
That's good to hear. And so as you found these people and as they've taken on more responsibility and leadership within your organization, has that opened up more opportunity for you to focus on big picture items, education, and speak a little bit more to, how you have been able to move and shift towards education, bigger picture responsibilities at Bright and Green?
I've been able to spend a lot less time washing dishes, a lot less time writing emails thanks to new admin support. Go Gina, local trash rat as well. And I'm able to focus the time on working with Humboldt Workforce Coalition so that we can train people who need and want to learn how to work and get the skills so that they can continue their careers. And expand this idea because I have gone through, I've met so many people that want to help, they want to work, but in our rural region of California, we need to train people how to work. And so that is what my role has shifted into, getting work done through others, trying not to do it to myself. And then, working with more marketing teams and expanding so that it's really just turning into organizing and managing my own stress and anxiety about everything.
Yes. So off that, I remember you were talking to me about that yesterday. Like you said, like people want to work but don't know how, right?
Oh, that sounds so harsh.
I know, but I mean, it's true. Like I'm not gonna say like.
We all have different skills, right?
Yeah.
And we just need to learn, and it takes time to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And this society that we're living in right now, we're super glued to our phones, and we're super filled with an environmental guilt and anxiety and isolation is a huge issue. And so, just getting people to show up to work on time, I've seen it be extremely difficult. but just making it a practice, getting bigger teams. And I'm learning to change my own styles and learning to communicate better
Yeah.
and schedule better and set people up better. And it's a two-way street.
It is 100%, because if the employer is not willing to adopt like new policies or like rules or like kind of just the way they go about things in general, how are the employees going to flourish? Because you're supposed to be, their leader. Like, you're supposed to walk them through the fire and come out on the other side. But if they walk in blindly, they're not going to make it out. If you just, sorry, that was going to be so good and I just messed it up. But you're not going to be with them. So they're just going to get lost in the house. Whereas the way out and you'll be like, they'll be here in 5 minutes, So it's really, like you said, a two-way street, getting like expanding your mindset and changing up your ways to cater to, I guess, what the newer generation is doing, in that, like if someone wants to work from home, you cater to that, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. What else was I going to say? Okay, I don't know. But what challenges do you see in the local workforce right now?
Just lack of experience in the workforce. Lack of experience is what I'll say. We just need to learn how to be hands-on and commit ourselves to stuff as well. And we face a lot of challenges in our area, mm-hmm. With living situations, with our population of people that have disabilities and mental disabilities and challenges too. Those are our community. Those are our neighbors.
Yeah.
So we gotta learn how to work together so that we can support people that need to be supported in ways that are sustainable, which I do think that this is a way that we can sustainably support our community.
Like, I agree with that. And like you were saying, like it being a two-way street, like people with learning disabilities or mental disabilities, you can't treat them like you would treat someone who doesn't have those. Because, that can get messy, but also just realistically, like, you have to cater to them. And if you're unwilling to do that, neither you or them are going to grow or learn from the position that they're in,
It has to be the right fit.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell people it's not the right fit sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But we genuinely want to help people in their career path and their career with their work skills. And it's such a rewarding job.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So you're talking about work skills, you're talking about experience. Was there any experience or skills that you developed from the Cal Poly Humboldt School of Business that helped you with your career and your business, Bright and Green?
Learning when people say that you don't have a good idea, that doesn't mean that you can't go forward with your idea. When somebody says, oh, that hasn't been done, oh, that can't be done, ooh, I think that was my biggest lesson walking away is when someone says something can't be done or you can't do it, but you know how to do it and you can do it, go ahead and do it. And it will be a lonely journey and you'll be going against the grain, but that's how the greatest ideas happen, is when someone says, everyone's saying that this can't happen, but I'm going to go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I had some trouble in class too. I was taking a class where we write a business plan, and the only reason I feel like my teacher like semi-supported me was because I was already going out and like I had business coming in. So I feel like if it was just like an idea, like she probably would have shot it down, but proving to my teachers that I was doing it already, like I think that gave a lot of ups in that regard. And I was definitely going against the grain. It's being I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Like, you can't really tell me I can't do it.
Yeah.
So
you can't. Yeah. That's going to be the hardest thing. But it's also, if you can keep going when everyone's telling you that you can't keep going and you still keep going, you could do anything that you want to do.
Yeah.
And it's the hardest lessons. You might fail all your classes, but as a business major, it's the best lesson.
So I asked Will this last podcast, and I plan on bringing it up as a reoccurring question. Do you think that your education was valuable? And in what ways do you think that your education could have been more valuable?
I think that value relies in the connections that we make with people. So the connections that I made with my fellow students, the life lessons that I learned from one of my very good friends, Shefla, that I met in our internship class. The values that I learned from him still lead my business values. And the connections that I made with my teachers, some of them did see certain things in me and that were like, oh, Carly knows that she can go live abroad and not spend as much money as she's spending here. And she can actually do this business on, a very little money.
I hear you. I relate to that heavily with, the connections I've made at the school. So is there any improvements, anything that you think that the education or the school we went to, the Cal Poly School of Business, might be able to change? I really enjoyed, I'm not trying to trash talk our education at all. It was great. But, it's hard to say it was perfect. What's a little, something they can do to improve that program?
The first thing is that they could follow up on their word with working with the indigenous programs that they promised to work with the Food Sovereignty Lab when we switched to a Cal Poly. I would love to see them actually invest a little bit more attention and support to that program. And as well as our businesses, our business department is such a valuable resource. I think when you were in the Entrepreneurs Club too, one of your guys' biggest goals was connecting the Entrepreneurs Club to other clubs as well.
Yep.
Because that we could help them and they could help us.
Totally.
And together we could support each other and we could be set when we get out of this college.
Totally.
So it's those connections that we make, and it's those teachers that show up for us as well and support us and really make sure that we have all the resources that we need and we got our hands on them, and that the resources that we have in college are overwhelming. You'll never figure out how much you have available, but I promise you could do anything with all the resources that they have available for you. You just need a teacher and a team and friends to support you, a teacher to show you the way, and a team to give you the good push and support to.
Have you ever felt like your business or event deserves more attention? That's where AAA Productions comes in. We don't just make videos, we tell stories. From small businesses to community events, we also do real estate, aerial videography, and so much more. Let us help you stand out with cinematic content that connects with your audience. So, if you're ready to take your brand to the next level, contact me today using the links in the description, and let's make something amazing together. Thank you, and back to the show.
Totally. And
To utilize it.
Go ahead, sorry.
You're good.
so you were talking about some of the partnerships you have with Bright and Green, and, being in the entrepreneurship club, I was able to discover how valuable partnerships are. In our last podcast, that's something Will spoke to, is that, in the business world, some people develop this overly competitive mindset, and it's not about just beating out the competition. It's about forming valuable partnerships that are going to help you have a competitive advantage. Yeah, exactly. Coopertition. I love it. And so what are some of the partners that Bright and Green has right now that you've found valuable and have really been able to help you out?
I'm wearing a Youthability shirt right now, so all the stuff that we have is secondhand. I personally don't think I wear anything that is firsthand, just because we don't. Our whole mission is reuse. So the textile industry, I don't believe in buying new stuff. So even our own gear, I just partnered with Claire from Consider the Planet Art. You can find her on Instagram. She made hand-carved these stamps. We went to Maker's Apron in Eureka to get secondhand rubber and secondhand materials. I've been picking up little stuff around. So Consider the Planet made all this stuff. Youthability, I get stuff from them every once in a while. The local worm guy teaches me about what's compostable and what can be accepted, and volunteers a lot of their time helping me work with vendors to tell them what can be locally composted at events so that we can give better trash talks.
You can flash those on screen, by the way, if
sure.
you'd like to.
Yeah, this is just, it's too wordy, but it's great for volunteers to get all the information about accepted items, not accepted. And we made this for the local worm guy, for us. We want people to know about him. The more we can compost, the more that we're meeting our own mission of diverting waste out of landfill and reusing and just composting. It just goes hand in hand.
Yeah, that's cool.
Awesome. You guys are going to have to pardon me. I'm going to shamelessly line up my plug here. Has the SBDC been a good partner, and in what ways have we been able to help you out?
Yes, the SBDC, I recently ran into a situation that I didn't know what to do, and I called my SBDC advisor for advice. Get free help, financial help. Michelle is my financial advisor, and she has gotten me through so much help. I wouldn't have hair right now if it wasn't for my financial advisor that I get for free through the SBDC anytime that I want.
Yes.
As much help as I want.
Free advising.
Marketing help. I'm tripping right now about how I'm going to get a marketing team together, but I know that the SBDC is going to come together.
It's me and Melinda. Shout out Melinda.
Yes.
Yes. So,
And how did I get you guys? Through the SBDC.
Yeah, exactly.
How did we meet? At an SBDC networking event.
Exactly. Yeah.
here at the Small Business Development Center, if you're a small business owner, if you know a small business owner, we have free advising and consulting. Come on in. We can offer you support and services with things like bookkeeping, marketing, HR, all of the above. We'd love to help you out. Come down to the SBDC.
Luke, I think I give people your phone number on the regular, like at least once or twice a week.
Oh, I get references.
Your personal texts. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, in fact, I started the Behind the Redwood Curtain Instagram, but I haven't went out and followed anybody besides myself on both my accounts, Luke on his account and the SBDC account. And that's all. And in the bio, it's podcast hosts, my username, his username, and then powered by AAA Productions and Startup Humboldt. And people are already following the podcast account and they follow the SBDC. By the way, at the time of recording this episode, it is September 25th, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we haven't launched the account yet. By the time you guys are watching this, the account's alive, but I've gotten 20 followers already from just the SBDC account. So it's pretty crazy. When you guys were talking about using the resources at school, sorry, I'm going to circle back. I didn't take advantage of those as much as I should have. I was a film major and then switched to a business major my sophomore year. And it was kind of I was navigating blind because I didn't use my business advisor up until my senior year. I only used my film advisor because she was goated. She knew everything. She's actually your film teacher too. Yeah. She knew everything about everything, bro. So it was always crazy having help from her. And I just went to her for everything. But I don't know what it was about me. I don't know if I was just being naive or stubborn, but I never reached out. I never joined any clubs. I never attended any events. When the teachers would force us to come here or go to a mixer, I'd be I don't see the point in that. But the amount of wrong I was is crazy. And the fact that that's changed only since March or April, my whole mindset has shifted, making connections and going out and talking to people, it's yielded me a lot of dividends, support wise. So starting here, in my class, I met Matt from Matthews Lawn Care. Do you know him?
Of course.
Yes.
If you don't, you should.
Yeah, you should. And anyways, that led me to working with Startup Humboldt. And then the startup Humboldt has led me to working with people like you, Melinda. We found a job opening for Visit Lost Coast as well. And some of his clients who also need media help, I've reached out and I'm like, hey, like if you need help. But like it's cool because I'm making more connections now than ever. Like we're gonna have Dan and John on the podcast. That's exciting. Like that, yeah. I don't want to say too much on that yet, but like that's crazy. Just like the opportunity that's opened up these past like 4 or 5 months. So I don't know why I was so stubborn and naive like last year.
It's hard. It's a new thing. New things are challenging.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Everything is challenging.
yeah,
Doing stuff.
I've just been really trying to be a lot more open-minded, and so far it's been fun. So I'm gonna continue to keep doing it and just like meet a lot of people and do a lot more, you know? Yeah. So that's really exciting.
Good for you, man.
Thank you.
So you frequently go to the mixers and you do a lot of in-person marketing, but you also do a lot of digital marketing. Your online platform is also very strong. I have a lot of clients that come to me and they say, I don't want to do in-person marketing, or I don't want to do digital marketing. And they're like, I just want to focus on one or the other. Like, which one do you think is better? And I always tell people both. Hit both as hard as you can. And they work very well together. They're very compatible. In-person marketing gives you content, and then the digital marketing gives you a platform that people can find out about your in-person events. Can you talk a little bit about digital marketing versus in-person marketing and how using both has helped you start your business?
Yes, they do go hand in hand. They complement each other. They help each other too. I'm able to have conversations with people because I can walk up to them and be like, hey, I saw your Instagram post, or, oh, I noticed you're doing this and I love your post about that. And I'm able to interact with people too. It's like, oh, can we take a picture? Or I'll walk up to people at markets, take pictures of them. And then I also am able to kind of be like, you're using a reusable plate. Like, do you have any questions about it? Or like, thanks for throwing it away. High five. And we get to interact and share something more personal. And they get to realize that we're in it together. I'm not doing this alone. They're doing it all with me too. And interaction, community, engagement, just like you were talking about, it's hard to realize how valuable it is. But then little things will start to show. And one day I was sitting in Wild Berries and somebody was like, oh my God, it's the bright and green lady. And I was like, oh my God, what are you talking about? Like, she's like, I follow your Instagram. And I was like, is that a what? Stop it. But then they learn, and then they get to tell their children, and then other people start following, and it's
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah,
but it has to go hand in hand. I don't see it working any other way.
That's like the best feeling. Personally, I've found more luck doing in-person marketing over digital marketing. Like I try, maybe because the stuttering, bro. Maybe it's because I started my business like a few months prior to when I started doing like ads, and I didn't really know how to do ads. So maybe that's another reason why. But the best thing for me was going up to people and introducing myself, telling them what I do, and asking them if they'd be interested in doing something like that. And I mean, it's worked. Like that's how I got into the band scene for a little while. That's how I was able to do some short films with some people. That's how I was able to work with Matt and do lawn care, like blue collar videos. And that's how I was able to meet you and, get to do a different style of video that I've never done, like in-person interviews and stuff. Like that's going to be fun. And then all of that. So like it's just been my way of doing it. And until I get like a personal, not an employee, I guess an employee of someone who can actually sit down and be like, here's a social media strategy you're going to do. Let's do these as ads and run them like that. Then maybe I'll get back into doing it. But like I don't do them, and it's kind of weird of me saying I don't do them, even though I do them for other people, you know? So, I don't know.
Each situation is unique.
Yeah.
Depending on the event that I'm working for, there's some event coordinators that I can't get a hold of on the phone, and I just need to get it through email and bada bing, bada boom. Other event coordinators, I need to drive an hour and show up to their board meeting and show my face, show my stuff, just to really get them to.
That's what I did here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought we weren't going to be working together because I hadn't heard from you guys, like, at all. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go down there and, like, talk to them because I know, like, some of you guys. So I was like, screw it. I'm just going to go see what's up. And then it worked out. But, yeah, definitely in person, face-to-face, putting a face to the name. Like, I've done that. You've done that. You've done that. I think that works better than, you know, kind of just like telling people what you're about behind a screen, you know?
100%.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So throughout your journey and experiencing marketing, you know, failures, successes, the whole lot of it, what is a piece of advice that you could that you'd want to give to somebody that's starting a business or has a startup business and is trying to expand and scale? What marketing advice do you think you would give them?
Can just keep pushing it. Everything is content. I annoy my employees very much with how much I record their every move.
Film everything.
Yes. I am not even able to post everything that I record, but that way I'm able to have enough content. So anytime I just hop on Instagram, I'm able to just boom, boom, boom. Film everything as much as you can. Annoy yourself, annoy people around you. That will happen.
I've been trying to do that with our SBDC Instagram. I've been trying to like get more content.
Yeah.
In fact,
I should totally be recording this.
we should
Take my own advice.
it would be cool to do like a little SBDC collab for content with Bright and Green. So we'll table that. We'll talk about that after the.
When and where?
Yeah.
I've been wanting to do like our writing sessions or like ideation where we just set up the camera and just talk, you know, and like do what we normally do and see what we can get out of it. And then we can look back and maybe do some sort of like behind the scenes where it starts with the idea, you know, like when I presented you the podcast idea, I wish I was filming that.
Definitely. Even the conversation we had like while we were setting up the podcast,
Yes,
like that was like super good. And I think that, you know, some of the best content is behind the scenes.
Yeah.
One of the hardest things as business owners is communicating what do you do as a business too. And when you do get on an interview, if you're not used to talking with that record button on, which I'm still not.
Me neither.
It's
I'm so bad at it.
nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
But the more you do it and the more it just becomes a norm, you could communicate your business better. You can communicate how you could help people better, because that's the wall. We know how to help people. We want to help people, but we need to be able to communicate that well.
Marketing is something that at the moment is changing so rapidly. It's growing with digital marketing and different platforms. But at the same time, marketing is something that there's principles and ideas of it that remain the same throughout time. With that in mind, what do you see as the future of Bright and Green's marketing strategy? Is there anything that you're not doing right now that you see yourself doing in the future?
I studied psychology at the same time that I studied business. And so I don't think that money is going to incentivize the reuse movement. I think that our social norms will incentivize it. I think it should be weird. So I want to, I talked to you guys, our future marketing team, potential future marketing team about this just the other day. I want people to feel weird when they hold something disposable. Like, why? Why would you do that? Like, when you have this available, you could just bring your own cup. Or, like, you guys got your own cups, too. Like,
Yeah.
shout out.
Yep. Reusable.
Yeah. Because
Got a bunch of stickers on mine.
it would be weird to show up to a meeting with Bright and Green just with a disposable coffee cup or something like that, too, right?
I guess you're right. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. And I think I agree with you there. I think I was watching some content about how digital marketing and marketing in general is moving away from pricing and sales
because people are starting to catch on that pricing and sales is, they're starting, not that it is a gimmick, but people are starting to perceive it as a gimmick, and it very often is. And marketing is more moving into the intersection between community, environment, and advocacy. Do you see that as the direction of Bright and Green, and how is Bright and Green involved with community, environment, and advocacy?
We are involved with community, advocacy, environment. I repost as much as I can with people who are on our same mission, which is reducing waste, helping the community. But that being said, that is not our target audience 100%. We also are targeting people who really don't care about the waste that they create. So I target the convenience of it as well. We make it easier. And then people who just prefer like USA made. Right now, if you're drinking out of a disposable cup, we bought that from abroad. And we spent USA money, USA dollars to get that, and it went out. It's really not helping us. It's actually just trashed us more. So looking at other perspectives that aren't super environmentalism either, but also just the convenience factor of it. We want to make this an easy change, a convenient change. Take the hassle out of the change, take the stress out of the change. Even just, showing up to stuff that we know is going to be good for us is still uncomfortable and difficult, even though we know it's a good thing to do, or we see it could be a good thing to do. We just take out that barrier of inconvenience. I think that is more of our strategy, and just make it weird.
Is it true that there's like a loophole with what you can say on like food packaging, or like food products, or like any products? If it's packaged in the USA, you can say it's like made in the USA.
Yeah,
do you know anything about that?
That's a whole podcast in itself.
Okay. But
yes, there is. So this is kind of one of my biggest pet peeves. That's like a different rabbit hole.
Yeah, we could get into that another time. Yeah.
But a lot of times we see 100% compostable cups, like any coffee cup.
Those are scams,
coffee
right?
cup. I'm not going to say it's a scam. They're lined with either plastic or bioplastic or wax. Nowadays, most wax is pretty chemically treated, so we don't want to put that into our compost. Plastic lining, we don't want to put that into our compost because it just breaks down into microplastics. Bioplastics are the better alternative right now, but because they're not petroleum based, they're made out of plants and starches, organic materials, but we don't have a system in Humboldt right now that can process bioplastics properly. It's just turning into microbioplastics or just not breaking down. Again, I am not a processor, but I don't know anyone in California that can process cups that are lined with plastic or bioplastic right now. Yeah,
at school, where I used to work, they were telling us to get management was telling like my supervisors to get the more expensive plastic cups, and you can clearly see there's like a wax lining on it, because you know how like water drips or like soaks into like real cardboard, but then like drips down if there's like some sort of wax or film around it. And those were those cups, and we were told to not recycle them or like not compost them, but they were like 25 cents a cup more expensive or something like that. So it was a huge waste of money, and we couldn't even take the benefits out of it with those things. So I consider them personally a scam for reuse, composting, and recycle and all that stuff.
I'm not familiar with we use aluminum cups at most of the events, or we encourage people to use aluminum cups. I think that's a steel cup. That's an even nicer one, I believe.
Sorry.
But the aluminum cups are good, but Yeah, they have a higher chance of getting actually recycled versus the paper cups. Yeah, any paper cup or bowl that you would put a liquid into has a lining in it.
Yeah.
A grease resistant layer, if you
Yep,
will.
yep.
And it is compostable. It could be composted. It could be processed back into organic material. We just don't have a system or anyone that could do that right now. Same thing with recyclables. They can be recycled, but we got to find someone to do that, right?
Yeah, that's our biggest problem here is we don't have people doing that, right? Or like there isn't like a market. Speaking of which, what if somebody from the Startup Humboldt competition pitched an idea to open up a plant that will provide jobs and do this stuff and, actually practice what Humboldt County is marketed as, a place where you compost and sort out your trash and, recycle or reuse. That could probably be a winner.
We have a lot of valuable resources here. Even invasive species that could be ripped out and then utilized, such as our European beach grass. We could start using that to build if someone started doing that. We have tons of wood chips. We should utilize our resources to better serve our community.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right. I want to switch topics here.
Yes.
From the stuff that you do for your business, let's talk about, that doesn't make any sense. You're talking about the inner, the outside of your business. Let's talk about the inside of your business. For event organizers, what's the real cost difference between single-use disposables and your model?
We are more expensive.
Okay.
We cannot compete with labor abroad. We pay people more.
Yep.
Way more.
Yeah.
For their labor here. And so you are paying for the labor. Also, we pay way more for our water and electricity. Mm-hmm. So when you're paying for reusables, and then we, how do I say this? The price is significantly more.
Okay.
So the expensive part is the labor and what goes into cleaning the
labor and the
yeah.
resources.
So a business can potentially buy a set of bright and green plates, utensils, etc.
And your labor and resources are still going to be similar.
Would let's say Startup Humboldt was to purchase, which I'm going to bring it up at the next meeting.
Yes.
Over a period of time, the first batch of, let's say you buy 100 plates from Bright Green, and that's going to be more expensive than 100 plates from disposable plates from Costco. But over time, after 10 events, the disposable might be more expensive than the Bright and Green. But the expensive part about the Bright and Green is that you're paying for the service of washing and cleaning the plates. Would a business like us, because we actually do have a dishwasher, would we be able to just purchase the Bright and Green plates and utensils, just purchase them straight up from you and then take care of the cleaning and whatnot ourselves?
Absolutely.
And would you say that business model where you just sell them straight up and then the business owner cleans them themselves, assuming they have a dishwasher, do you think that business model is cheaper than disposable?
It depends on how they're utilized, how they're washed, and how they're managed.
Okay.
Because if they all get lost after your first event, then or if they all get broken, or say you don't wash them immediate, or you don't wash them until a few days later, and they all grow mold in them, and then you got mold in the plastic. You really can't be sure. You got
I see.
I see that happen a lot.
Okay.
Really?
People get really excited to get their cups back or get their utensils back, and they're gonna wash them. But it's hard to wash them.
Totally.
It takes time and energy. Once you get it going, you can do it. But yes, you could get your own. What I like is that I'm offering the service. I personally do not think that we need more plates, cups, utensils in our community. If you need plates, cups, utensils, please go to your local thrift store. You can get ceramic plates, cups, utensils, glass. much better to eat off of ceramic glass.
Yeah.
These are still plastic, you guys. These are number 5 plastic, BPA free, melamine free. We get them from preserve, so I feel very confident that our plastic is coming from trusted sources and getting processed in the best way.
Yeah.
But the best thing to do is bring your own cup. Right now you're drinking out of steel. That's still better than this.
What's the flask, the hydro flask made out of?
It's steel.
Okay.
You believe you got steel, but you have a plastic lid.
No, I don't. I'm just kidding.
So what I do recommend, if you have a business, a home, an organization, and you want your own plates, cups, utensils, I recommend stopping by your local thrift store. First, if you do want Bright and Green, you want to support Bright and Green, and you just want Bright and Green stuff in your home, and you like that you don't have to worry about these breaking, dropping, they're lightweight, they're easy to clean, which is why I like them too, is I could just wash a whole bunch and pow, pow, pow.
Calling all entrepreneurs in Humboldt County. This video is brought to you by Startup Humboldt. Startup Humboldt is powered by the NorCal SBDC, Cal Poly Humboldt, College of the Redwoods, and Lost Coast Ventures, and we're building the future right here on the North Coast. Here you'll find an intersection between education, economic development, and community. Every entrepreneur can turn ambition into lasting impact, so whether you've got a new idea, want to launch a podcast, or need space to bring your vision to life, Startup Humboldt is the place. Visit us at 876 7th Street in Arcata. Startup Humboldt, where ideas become action. Let's get back at it.
That's the idea, just because like from day to day, like the 9 to 5 office workers here, we all have our own mugs and our own plates and all of our own utensils that we use. But for like hosting large events, it would be nice to just break out the Bright and Green set, set them up, and then at the end of the event, I just throw everything in the dishwasher and, and then I clean it.
Dude, that would be great for the upcoming events. Yeah. Or before you ask this next question, so with people buying your plates, that's like just the upfront cost, right?
Yeah. So
they don't have to pay. Sorry, they don't have to pay for like a recurring subscription or anything. Unlike with the paper plates, over time that gets really expensive. Whereas they just have to buy these once.
Yes. For example, Northtown Coffee was the first business establishment to buy a set of our cups and lids. We have cups with lids, and we have signage up there, which is also what encouraged us to make signage like this. Extra information on the back as to why you really shouldn't put your hot liquids into these cups that have a thin lining, because it just breaks down into microplastics or microbioplastics as soon as you put a hot liquid in there.
Really? Then that gets into your drink?
Average person, I think somebody told me the other day, consumes about a spoon's worth of plastic every week.
Like a spoonful or a spoon?
You eat a plastic spoon every week.
That's crazy.
And so these are number 5 plastic, so they hold up to heat better. Again,
does that mean less leaks out?
Less microplastic leakage.
Okay.
Maybe, I'm not going to say none.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But you can buy a cup for $5 at Northtown Coffee right now. You get a cup and a lid, and if you bring it back dirty and you don't want to wash it, you can get $1 off of your next cup and lid.
I like that.
Or you could just keep
cool.
washing it yourself too.
Yeah.
But if you don't want to wash it, you can leave it.
What's the difference between, I guess, plastics 1 through 9? Like what is 9 the most resistant and 1 the least resistant?
I can tell you more about how to properly wash a dish with the soft side of a sponge, but I am not a recycler. There are differences between plastics 1 through 7. Plastic number 5 is the most durable, heat-resistant plastic. Okay. So that's why we use this plastic. I believe it is the most food-safe plastic.
Okay. And it's 1 through 7, not 1 through 9. Sorry, I don't know if I
No,
got that wrong.
I think it's 1 through 7.
Okay.
I might get that wrong. I don't know. That's not, yeah.
So as we talk about, plastics, there is still to some degree microplastics, even with the more higher quality plastic. Do you see the business transitioning into steel or a different material at any point?
I would love that.
So it's a possibility.
Yeah. Right now I like these because we're taking plastic out of the landfill and we're utilizing it. So rather than this getting into our oceans, getting into our soil, staying in our landfills, we're utilizing it. And we're paying a company to make sure that it's extracted from our landfills and utilized. And if anything gets broken or damaged, I'm able to send it back to them to get utilized again. So I really feel like this is supporting a greater mission of recycling as well. And we're supporting companies that are recycling and that can answer more questions about plastics and stuff too.
Yeah, sorry about asking you about recycling, because I know you don't recycle, and I'm sorry that I've made you reiterate that over the course of this podcast. But like, what is one thing that people get wrong about recycling versus reusing?
We pushed recycling so hard for so long that it just rolls off our tongues.
Yeah.
And we think about sustainability, we think about that recycling symbol. I know that there's so much disbelief in our recycling system right now, so little hope, that I try to really emphasize that we reuse. I can guarantee this plate is going to get washed. And if it does get broken or damaged, I can guarantee that I will send it back to the manufacturer to make sure it gets recycled. But it's so much money, time, and resources went into training our society about recycling that it's just ingrained in our heads that that's the thing to do. We just don't even think about reusing.
Yeah, because for me personally, I thought up until yesterday that recycling meant the same thing, like reusing. Like obviously, what I thought was there's two types of reusing. The recycling where they go break it down, rebuild it, and then boom, you're reusing it. And then the regular reuse, you buy a glass, plastic, ceramic piece of serviceware, silverware, whatever, and reuse it for life, you know?
I think you're still right.
Yeah.
I don't think you're wrong.
Okay.
But I just steer away from the word recycle.
Okay.
Because to me, if I start saying, oh, I'm recycling these plates, then people are like, yeah, right, immediately.
Yeah.
But no, we're reusing them. We're washing them. We're hand washing them.
Yeah, I guess it is kind of like there's like a very small difference, because recycling, you're recycling the materials, but then you're reusing the item. You know, I guess that's kind of the difference.
And just as there was a big recycle movement around the United States and the world, I want the same thing to happen with reuse. And I think that that is what is coming.
Well, this podcast is going to be the start of that. So.
Yes.
If bright and green became the standard, how would Humboldt's events look different 5 years from now?
No single-use waste. Rather than trash cans, we'll have dirty dish bins
Like a
and receptacles everywhere.
And so outside of recycling, I kind of want to move into composting. And you're working with the local worm guy. So assuming that we're using, reusable utensils and plates, we're still going to have compost. Do you think that there can be more uses outside of the local worm guy for compost in Humboldt County?
What do you mean uses for compost? Like somebody else composting?
Yeah, if let's say the local worm guy says, hey, I kind of already have all the compost I need. I don't know how much he uses. Is there like another way to reuse that compost in our area?
So we have community gardens. You can drop
Oh.
off at community gardens, usually for free. A Sea Cat house on campus. You guys, students, you guys can drop off for free.
I've actually seen that compost bin. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
off anytime.
What was that bin?
The CCAT, it's like a building on campus, and
Center for Appropriate Technology.
Where at on campus?
BSS-ish.
Oh.
Right near the entrance to the Redwood Forest.
And they have
It's like a bin?
they have a community garden, and then they have just this big compost bin that like anybody.
Students that live in a sustainable house,
Yeah.
live off grid on campus.
Is it across from the fisheries building or next to it?
It's near the fisheries building.
Okay.
It's in that same block, kind of.
Okay.
It's like on the other side of it. Other side of the.
I might have seen it, but I'll probably have to see a photo of it.
Yeah. You just look at. You can look up CCAT. They have like lots of. It's a cool place. My girlfriend like loves the CCAT. She.
That's
Yeah, volunteer at Sea Cat House. And volunteer with Full Cycle Compost. Volunteer with Centro de Pueblo for the community garden. And you can drop off your compost, and I bet you'll probably get some veggies or fruits or flowers to take home with you afterwards, too.
Okay. And so,
And
you know,
Recology is working. We have a law in place, SB 54, requiring that everyone in California has compost bins available for them. That we should have had that years ago, but we keep on getting extensions because we are a rural community and we don't know how to make that work. Local Worm Guy has exceeded all community expectations in providing a large composting system.
Is that
Go ahead.
sorry. Is local worm guy a business or a person?
The local Worm Guy is
Worm in the dirt.
Lloyd and Stacy. They are famously known in the community as two of the two hardest working people in Humboldt. And together they were able to help Cal Poly Humboldt take all their compost, which I think they sponsored their first tractor, which would enable them to expand their services to really accept large amounts of compost for our community, such as the compost for the Oyster Fest.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So they're the hardest working people in Humboldt.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're pretty well known around the business community, and they're very interconnected. They're awesome.
Yeah. And Lone and Stacy are consistently pushing policy to benefit our community, making it easier for smaller farms to be able to compost on their land, and making it easier to get to enable other people to compost on larger levels around here as well.
Awesome.
So, when you were at Cal Poly Humboldt, did you see yourself going down the entrepreneurial route, or did you see yourself going down the employee route? What kind of take yourself back into that time and like tell me a little bit about what you saw and what you imagined your career as, and what your career and how your career has differed from that picture.
I knew I wanted to help people. I knew that I had good work ethic, and I knew that I'd work for a lot of really mean bosses. I was a waitress for most of my career, you could say. And then I became an English teacher while I was traveling abroad. And I believe that the workplace is where we spend most of our lives. And the people that we work with are closer than family because those are the people that we spend most of our time with. And so I believe that we need to be happy with what we do and benefit the community and not just see problems through our own eyes, but listen to what the community's problems are and not tell them how to solve it, but listen to how they want things to be solved. I did that like a lot with like traveling. You see people volunteering in different countries and they want to help. You want to do the right thing, but you can't just show up somewhere and assume that you know what's best for somebody. And so I never saw this coming. I never thought that I was going to start a reusable business. But it truly checks every box for me. I listened to the community. I heard what it wanted. I saw it how it wanted things to be done. I saw what it was lacking. I saw what it needed. And I truly believe that this is something that the community wanted, the community produced, and I am just doing what the community wants to be done. Not what I want to be done, but it also fulfills me inside as well.
That's like, it's really cool how you were presented with the opportunity and it wasn't even a business. You turned it into a business. So that says a lot about like your entrepreneurialism as a whole and like wanting to do something community focused and like grow it. Like the only way to grow it is by making it a business and like known globally, which I hope this is a global thing at some point.
Yeah, and I have friends and family and people abroad that I know would love a job, or I know how bad people want to work, and everybody up here, people really want to work. They really want to be involved in the community and engage. And I saw it and I wanted it to connect so bad, and I couldn't see how to do it, especially when you get involved with businesses. It's hard to make that connection. But I really think that this way we're able to, the community feels good using this. We feel good washing them.
Yep.
And it's just a win-win.
Yeah, a flywheel.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. So if another entrepreneur wanted to do what you're doing, what advice would you give them and like where should they start?
I do always say start with the SBDC. I'll be your business advisor, but I know also we all get so many ideas and we get so excited. It's hard to follow through. SBDC really is a great starting point to work out your ideas, see if you can create a plan, and just do it. You just do it. You get up and you do it. Boots to the ground, pull up your pants, make it happen.
Not a bootstrap.
Yeah, you're not feeling good. You just got to do it anyway. Not feeling good that week. Still got to make it happen. You need to be responsible for yourself, your actions. The same way, like, I'm a people pleaser. So the same way that I wish to please others, I need to learn how to please myself for my business.
Yeah, like find and do what makes you happy, you know, and then everything else is just supplementary, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I like the idea of just going out and doing it. That's how I started this. I was going to try and raise some capital to get equipment to start a podcast. But then thankfully Startup Humboldt was around and they offered all this equipment for me to use as long as I can get it up and running. And that's what I did. And I think it's better to just start, like even if you say you had an iPhone for a camera, you get to watch it evolve, you know? So if you get like a sponsorship or an advertisements, like then you could buy your first camera, then you could buy 2 cameras, then you can buy microphones for everybody to use. You get a board to mix your audio and stuff, and then a computer to edit it all. Like, you know, you watch it flourish. So like, I'm really excited to see where this goes, and I'm glad I started when I did, because compared to the first episode already, this is already 2 steps higher than that. So I'm just like, looking forward to seeing where it can take us and like where it can go.
You'll learn how much you need to keep going forward. You think, oh, just start this, and then but then you start it. Once you actually start it, you realize how much more you need. And, oh, you got to do this. No, you got to do that. And you're constantly going to be fixing things.
Yep.
Like everything about my business is constantly pivoting.
Exactly. And that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just really got to, it's better to start when the spoon is not being like fed to you, you know, like here's some money, go start your business. No, like I have $10 in my account, I'm gonna start doing video production.
And it pushes you in ways that you may not be prepared to be pushed, but you need. That's what'll get you there.
Exactly.
Totally. One of the biggest inspirations for entrepreneurialism is just lack of employment opportunity. One of the most heavily dense per capita regions in the world of entrepreneurialism is certain locations in South America. And it's because, these people don't have employment opportunity, and so they create their own. Do you feel like, I guess I could ask both of you this question. Do you feel like the lack of employment opportunity or optimal work opportunity pushed you into entrepreneurialism?
Well, you answer that one first. I'm going to think about it.
That's a tough one. I'm sorry, y'all.
No, I like
Well, the thing for me was like I wanted to start a business in school. I had a job, so I wasn't like, oh, I need to make this work like immediately or else I'm screwed. But also at the same time, when I graduated was like when I wanted to go balls of like freaking wall, you know, like and just like get it off the ground, start making real money, like being able to pay rent, pay my bills, support myself, and like being able to save and invest, you know, the whole shebang. When it really started to become, I guess, more of a necessity was when I realized I was like, oh crap, like I'm not making any money right now. I need to go out and talk to more people and try to find something to make it work, because that just happened recently. And thankfully, like you guys were interested in hiring me. So I was like, I need to take this and like really push myself. So that's what pushed me to walk in here and share my ideas, you know, and do your guys' content and stuff. And it really, cause there was like a month where I was like, man, I just like want to get back to work. Like I want to grind doing videos all day. Like I want to be busy from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., you know? So now it's become a necessity, to answer your question. So, and the lack of not finding a job. I've applied to probably 200-300 jobs, and I know there's that could be a whole nother podcast, the job market. It fucking sucks. And I guess, yeah, what I've been like messing around and like telling my friends is like, oh, I fucked around and made myself a job, you know? That's kind of like my whole thing. So yeah, as I got out of school and as I got out of working at school, this was like my thing to fall back on, and there's been some ups and downs, so just been trying to make it work.
Yeah, just to go off what you're saying, my dad used to read The Economist, and I would like, see it as a kid. And the front page when I was like 12 years old or something was that my generation is going to have 60% of, the United States citizens in my generation are going to graduate with a college degree. And what they were saying in the article was that if 60% of the people are graduating with a college degree, then they're all competing against each other for a limited amount of jobs that require a college degree. I don't know what the figure is. I don't know if it is 60%, but to talk about the job market a little bit, and with us and our peers, it is very difficult to find prominent employment. And you are stuck with student debt. So there is like an incentive to make money because you have to pay back that debt, assuming you go into student debt. And so it ultimately, because there's so many, people graduating with a college degree, it's losing its value because, and this is just an opinion, and I'm not saying I completely agree with it, but it's a thought that's out there that the college degree is diminishing in value because there's so many people that have one. As people with college degrees, and going back to what your entrepreneurial journey, is do you feel like the value of the college degree is diminishing, or do you feel like it's still helpful and still valuable to folks in this generation?
I think whether you get a college degree or not, what you do with that time is going to tell how valid, like that what you do, whatever you do at that time. If you're in college, if you're not in college, if you're not learning and you're not practicing, and you're not practicing your work ethic, you're not practicing your communication skills, your networking, you're showing up to time, getting stuff done. And I don't think you have to go to college to learn all those things, but you do have to be doing something to challenge yourself during that time of your life.
I agree with you. When I was going through like my rough period, what I did was, because I was really relying on that one thing like for work basically, and I wasn't like expanding, like wanting to expand. I guess I got comfortable when I really shouldn't have, and I guess like thinking back on it, yeah, I did. But after that, I tried to make a new YouTube channel where I post like business tips and stuff from stuff that I've learned, like just like going out and doing stuff, like things that I didn't learn in school. Not a podcast, but you know. And then I was writing down my schedule every day, like what am I doing from the moment my alarm goes off to the moment where I put my phone down and go to sleep. And then I was figuring out ways to make this podcast happen as well. And I was figuring out ways, I was doing like drafting proposals to send to potential clients, like, hey, like I'm looking for some work. Here's a deal that I have, you know?
You have the entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah, so it's been rough, and it's like rough because you do a lot of this and like you don't feel the return like for a while, and it like beats you down, you know? Yeah, so like recently, like this month, like I feel like I've been seeing a little bit of that like manifesting itself, like the investments like sort of paying off. So I'm like continuing to do more, you know, and talk to more people, get to know more people, learn more by doing this stuff. And I feel like it's like your money in the stock market, it compounds over time. So that's what I'm trying to do. So, yeah.
But if you pull out too fast, don't lose it.
Exactly. You're going to miss the
Really wasn't worth it.
Yeah, the shoot up.
So you're talking about, you know, experiencing, and I think most, if not everybody, has been in this situation before, where they're feeling too comfortable and they might become complacent. I know I've had multiple times in my life, in my career, that I've experienced that same exact thing. And then I look back and I say, you know, I should have been doing more. I shouldn't have been complacent with where I was. Was there a time in your life or your career, Carly, that you felt like you were too comfortable and complacent? And if so, was there something that maybe spurred you to keep pushing forward?
I don't know if that has been my specific challenge. Right now, that actually my challenge is to be in one place. My comfortable zone is moving around, not being comfortable, and so just staying in one place is uncomfortable for me. And trying to root myself in Humboldt and not travel the world and keep on exploring different cultures.
I totally see that. Yeah. You inspire. I think you inspire me and other people to not be complacent and always be pushing forward, always trying something new, always moving in the forward direction, because you know, that's really important. And I think a lot of people do get caught up with that. And yeah, now that I think about it, you're definitely not somebody that like meets that criteria. And so yeah, I think that your ability to keep moving forward and always reinvent yourself, I think that inspires the people around you to do the same. So just wanted to say that.
Hope so. Doesn't always feel like it, but I do believe that, yes, if we just keep on sharing our stories and our perspective, that somebody will get it.
Yeah.
It'll resonate with someone.
Yeah, it's hard sometimes, you know, not hearing anything from anybody, but also at the same time, when just like little things happen, like if I get an email response back from somebody that like shows some interest in like the podcast, for example, I'm like, hell yeah. Cause like we haven't even launched yet. Nobody knows about it. You know, the only thing they know about me is that I'm friends with you and I interviewed them at the mixer, you know? So it's going to be really cool. Like I said, like the whole compounding thing. So I'm just really like looking forward to trying and continuing and like just doing as much as I can to, you know, see that compound, you know? And another thing was I was listening to something yesterday, and this guy, he was like, oh, I just bought like a $30 million house, right? And he said that he didn't necessarily feel like he was getting too comfortable, like what you were just talking about with being comfortable, but he likes to challenge himself And so he bought a $30 million house, and he's like, now like this motivates me more to work because, you know, like say we spend like $1,000 on something, that motivates you to work to make that $1,000 back and then maybe some more, you know? So that's like been really resonating with me. Like, what is something that I can buy that will help my quality of life and also motivate me to work harder, you know? So like if it's like a new computer, a new camera, you know, a piece of equipment, you know, like something that'll make this better, but will also push me to keep working. Like also, like, have you like felt that way before as well?
Yeah, I quit my waitressing job in January due to family, like mostly family reasons, personal reasons, and that put me 100% working for Bright and Green.
Yeah.
I had to pay myself. I have been paying my employees, and I'm so proud of myself for paying my employees and being able to offer $20 an hour to people.
That's great.
Yeah, but I haven't paid myself yet. And I almost didn't have enough money for rent the other month.
Oh, yeah.
And so it forced me to suck it up and be like, okay, Carly, I thought I could wait till the end of the year, make sure we have all our expenses paid, make sure I'm really planning everything out, making sure I'm doing it all perfect, but I had to pay myself. And then that put me in the situation is, am I actually able to do this full time, or do I need to pick up an extra job?
Yeah.
And it is pushing me, and I want to see how much I can actually get my own rent paid through my own business.
Yeah.
And continue to pay other people and provide local jobs as well.
How many employees do you have, by the way?
It varies from time to time because we're gig work. I have over a dozen people that are pretty much on call.
Okay, like on contractor. So do you deal with contracts a lot?
We do contractor employment. We do payroll employment. And then we also have worked with nonprofits to make sure that they get stipends. So rather than just volunteering, but then we don't have enough money, maybe the nonprofit doesn't have enough money to hire people, but they can get together a stipend. So we get the nonprofits to offer stipends. There's always a way.
What's the difference between a stipend and like a check?
The stipend is a donation. And like a payroll check is going to be taxed, whereas a stipend is a donation from a nonprofit organization to a volunteer. It means you weren't working as an employee. It means you were being rewarded with a donation.
A stipend is a paid volunteer and as opposed to just a regular employee.
You're still a volunteer with a monetary reward.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I got a stipend from my senior internship here at Cal Poly Humboldt.
Nice. I was gonna say because I think one of my first gigs was filming a play for one of the local schools out here, and they said they were gonna pay me with a stipend, and in my head I was like, oh, I mean that's probably just a check, right?
Yeah.
So wait, I could have wrote that off technically.
No,
If you give somebody
that's
money,
revenue.
you can write it off, but you're making the money.
Oh.
Yeah, that's revenue.
Yeah.
Okay.
It gets tricky.
It was a good try.
Yeah.
Wait, yeah, no, you wouldn't write off something that you get.
I think you have to report that as income.
No, I did.
Yeah.
I'm saying I didn't. I don't know why I asked that. Sorry. Do you have any questions for us?
AAA Productions does not involve itself in tax evasion.
No.
Oh yeah. No, I feel it. I'm sure you get so many questions all the time about businesses and you just don't know how to answer it. I feel
Yeah,
the
you-
same
I-
when people
I-
ask
I've
about
actually-
recycling and
I've actually done 2 tax seasons here in Humboldt County where I was just cranking out Schedule Cs. So I actually I know a pretty good amount about how to do a sole proprietorship tax, and that's actually really helped me with my role here. A lot of people come in, they're like, what is this about the fiscal year? And I'm like, whoa, you don't have to worry about the fiscal year. And so, there's tax knowledge is something that the regular person knows so little about, but it ends up coming up in their life. And it's one of those things that, like, I guess it's kind of biased because I'm an accounting major, but I think like we should learn about taxes in like high school, and there should just be like
Dude, I agree with you.
like a one semester, like they had a 1 semester econ class, like do a 1 semester, a tax class, accounting class, business class, whatever it is.
Yes.
And maybe even make it optional. But like students that are interested in that, can be like, oh, I'm going to do that for my elective.
No, that should be mandatory, bro.
Yeah.
Taxes and stuff.
We just don't learn enough about businesses and taxes and finances at the elementary and high school level, even though I think that like high schoolers and even at the elementary levels, they are to some degree able to learn about those topics.
Yeah. Start learning about them at least.
Yeah, start learning. Even if it's just like if you sell a crayon for $1, even if it's just a fun thing like that, I think that that goes a long way. And it's kind of incorporated into our math, right? Like when we take math courses, there's money problems involved, but I think it could be more prevalent.
I'd rather learn how to do accounting or like my tax return over geometry. That's just me though.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but
I would keep geometry. I would take out calculus. I took pre-calc in high school.
I did too.
I can safely say that there was nothing in calculus or pre-calculus or trigonometry that ever translated into my career or personal life. I think the one thing I did learn is how to problem solve and how to solve advanced equations. So there's I learned how to learn basically, but if I'm going to learn how to learn, I'd rather learn how to learn taxes and business and finances.
Yeah.
I agree.
Rather than calculus or trigonometry.
Yeah. I was gonna be an architect. That was my first wanted career path.
Totally. If you want to be an architect, then definitely check out trig and calc and you're probably going to use those, but
I was excited to do trig as well because I was like, if I'm gonna be an architect, I'm gonna have to lock in for this class. And then they were like, no, you're gonna take pre-calc again. I was like, whatever. So then I was just but yeah. Do you have any questions for us about anything?
How is it? I know more about your career goals, but Luke, where are you headed with your career goals right now?
That's a tough one. It seems to change from year to year.
Yeah.
15 months ago, before I started working for the Small Business Development Center, graduating from Cal Poly Humboldt, I did 2 tax seasons, and I imagined myself doing more taxes and going down the CPA route because I want to make money. I want to make 6 figures, and that seemed like a good way to do it. Also, there's a certain level of job security that goes into taxes. If we experience another 2008 economic crisis, then CPAs get to keep their jobs, but some of the finance guys get laid off. So that was my thought process going through school and doing and focusing towards tax internships. And I thought, I landed this really good tax internship. I'm gonna go get a CPA and make 6 figures. I do the tax internship. I was miserable. I didn't get hired on after the internship. And someone else did. And then do another tax season internship my senior year. Same thing happens. I don't get hired on. I'm miserable doing it. And so after my second tax season internship, I was like, I had more of an open mind because I was like, well, maybe this isn't for me. Even though at the time I'm the president of the accounting club, so I'm telling other people to get their CPA and what to do, even though I'm questioning my own resolve in doing so. And so there was a little bit of this weird thing. I'm am I just is this even for me? And am I in so deep that I can't pull myself out? So I decided to pull myself out a little bit. I do the SBDC internship over the summer after my senior year, and then I get hired on. And I really liked it, and this is something I said on Matt and Glow's podcast. Shout out What We Didn't Learn in Business School. And so one thing I mentioned on there is having a job that you're not counting the minutes to getting out of there. When I was doing taxes, I was like counting the minutes and always looking at the clock, being like, is it time to clock out? You know, like, can I bill my last hours and get out of here? And so when you have that mindset, that's a good sign to know that like you're not happy working there. The tax internships I did were great. My employers were awesome. And, you know, taxes are great for certain people. There's nothing wrong with taxes. But for me personally, I didn't enjoy it. When I worked at the SBDC, I found that I loved it. I found there was days that I was working past 5 o'clock, 5:30, 6, 7, because I really loved what I wanted to do, and I wanted to get whatever project I was working on done because I was excited to see the end result. And so when I had this much more positive mentality towards working, and I would wake up in the morning and I was excited to go to work. It was like, I clock in at 9, I'm going to show up at 8:45 so I can get started a little bit early. You know, I would wake up and be excited to go into work. That's, you know, as that went on, I quickly realized that I would be much happier doing something else, like economic development, which is what I do now. So I'm, you know, the last year and a half has been this whole transition from, you know, my senior year being the president of the accounting club, working at a CPA firm, telling everybody that I'm going to get a CPA and that they should too, to doing, you know, maybe not a 180, maybe a little 90-degree turn to economic development, helping out small businesses, doing smaller scopes of work, and but being able to appreciate and spend more time and really enjoy those scopes of work. That is a transition that I'm experiencing. I'm liking it. I'm embracing it. And I've become more accepting of the fact that taxes and accounting and the CPA route might not be for me. And I've also came around to accepting that that's not the only way to get paid, and that there's other there's other routes, there's other avenues that I can go down with my career to make sure that I get paid, make sure that you know, my life is financially sustainable, and have the things that I want. So that's sort of the direction of my career. I'm kind of, you know, I don't know if I want to say recovering, but you know, I guess I'll use that word. I'm sort of recovering from this this idea in my head that being stuck in one direction and being so gung-ho on going down that route. And I'm slowly learning that I don't have to, and that I can really do whatever I would like with my career rather than what's expected of me by some of the people around me.
Yes.
Particularly my father. I guess this is getting a little personal with me, but my father, he's a CPA, and he just retired this year as a 27-year FBI agent for white-collar crime. He had a very successful career, and I think he really wishes the same for me.
Yeah.
But I'm a lot different than my father in a lot of ways. He's a lot more straight arrow. He was in the military for 4 years. And there's things about me that, you know, I have strong suits and weaknesses, and he has strong suits and weaknesses, and we really differ with what those are. And so a lot of, you know, my career over the last year or two with the SBDC and with my internships has been differentiating myself from my father's career.
Yeah.
Dude, I love that, bro. Like, I like the story, you know, like you wanted to do accounting, you tried it, but you were, you know, watching the clock all day instead of, you know, being like, oh, it's already time to go home already. So I think that's like really cool. And like also how your dad was an accountant, you said.
CPA, got his CPA, did Big Four accounting for a few years, and then
Yeah, so it's
transitioned.
it's really cool that you're trying to do something else. Like same with me. Like my parents did something completely different. Also, our camera's about to die.
How much longer do we have on it?
I don't know.
You don't know?
It's on one bar.
Oh god.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, Carly. Before we call it, anything else you would like to say? Oh, where can listeners learn more about Bright and Green or get involved?
Listeners can learn more about Bright and Green at Bright and Green on Instagram, at Bright and Green.
We'll tag it.
Yeah, and right there, at
Yeah.
Bright and Green. Or you can also learn more at brightandgreenhumboldt.com or find us on Facebook at Bright and Green Humboldt.
Awesome. Well, Carly, it was truly an honor to have you on. Really appreciate hearing your story and getting to tell you about ours and, you know, have this nice conversation and learn more about your products and your movement and what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, do you have any other closing words?
Nothing here. I appreciate you coming on the podcast. It's been an honor. Definitely check out Bright and Green. If you're looking to host a large event, go check out Bright and Green. They offer a great service here in Humboldt County, and we look forward to working more and seeing the future of your business and the future of you.
Thank you so much, you
Yeah.
guys.
Thank you.